What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Team Solemn Circus live video. It's on the left side here. You have Tearlaments going up against Mimighoul on the right side. We're going to be diving on right in with Mimighoul and winning the die roll here, being able to choose who's going to go first, and that's going to be choosing themselves. Obviously, before we dive on in too deep, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to the channel a lot. We're on the road to 10K. We are going to be seeing Unicorn being dropped down, what's going to activate the effect, letting us search for a birth here, which when we do link away that Unicorn, we can actually bring it back out with the birth, which is going to be quite nice, having essentially a free link material for maybe a bunny or an IP. We can also see them potentially even rip the extra deck if they have a copy of like Maker in the hand or something like that, being able to like flip up one of the opponent's Mimighoul monsters that we do end up giving them one, and then be able to rip their extra deck and knowing essentially what they're on. Because at the time, we don't know exactly what they're on, but the Cashier Unicorn is going to 100% give us that kind of knowledge here. So we see them activate a birth right away, and then that's going to be letting us normal summon out another Unicorn. We're going to link away for the rabbit, which is then going to be able to set the Azarun trap from the deck. So not looking like the most craziest opening from Mimighoul. Kind of unfortunately looking a little bit more like Kashtira here. But we do set that Azarun, and then we can bring back out the other copy of the Unicorn in the graveyard. It looks like they are thinking of what they have in their hand. But yeah. And then we see a Unicorn being brought back out, and then we're going to pass turn on that. We're going to see a Fenrir being summoned out, and now it's just looking like a Kashtira mirror match. No, but this is going to be activating the effect, letting us search for a copy of the Tier Cache. But we're going to find a way to deal with that Unicorn prior to activating that copy of the Fenrir. We're going to see a track going to be activated there. They do chain Ash to this. This is now going to allow us Fenrir to banish the Kashtira Unicorn face down, allowing us to not activate the effect and peep that extra deck. And they do chain a Veiler to this as well, and then Unicorn will be able to rip their extra deck, and they do see the Fiendsmith cards, which we did see obviously with the track, and then a bunch of other stuff. So we are going to be opting to take the Requiem right out of the deck. I feel like that we probably go for the sequence instead, but we then activate a planet, which is then going to activate allowing us to search for any of the Tearlaments monsters here, and they are thinking if they want to pop, but unfortunately they cannot because it will pop on a new chain, and the effect of Pelarina will already have resolved. We did not get the search for the Tier Cache here, but we have a Scream, or we have a Shiren in the hand now, which can then activate the effect, setting another card in their hand. And it looks like they have a copy of Tier Cache anyways here, so they're going to be able to activate the effect. And they also potentially have a Lurie as well. We are going to be seeing the Lurie being sent, and then we're going to be milling the top three cards. And we do hit an Agito as well as a Scream here. Scream will allow us to search for a Sulik. And the Shuffler can be quite nice. Now, not necessarily amazing versus the Mimighoul deck, but still can be quite nice. And then we activate Tier Cache, which can then banish the Scream to summon itself out, activating the effect, allowing us to mill more cards here. And we hit another Tier Cache and a Rhino Heart, which is going to be quite nice because Rhino Heart is going to summon itself out, sending the trap to the graveyard, and then also allowing us to send two more cards here. We see this Rhino Heart summon itself out, send the trap, and then we get to send another card from the deck. And we are going to chain the trap as well. And you're most likely going to send like a Havness here because we can go up into a Link 2, which can then if we still play the copy of the Sprite Sprint, we can send the level 2. So we're going to be adding the Rhino to our hand. We have not normal summon, so it's going to be a decent normal summon. We're going to send a Havness here, which Havness can then activate the effect, allowing us to put back. And they do chain an Azarun, and they're going to be popping the Field Spell. We're going to be summoning back out here. And we can't negate the summon, unfortunately not, but we are going to be able to activate the effect of the Kaleido Heart, and then we can chain the Pelarino. Then we're going to activate the effect of the Rabbit to destroy, making it so that we do not get to resolve the field spell. But that's not going to be that important here for us. We do put back, of course, the Rhino and the Havness, but we're going to be seeing the Rabbit get shuffled back into the deck, or extra deck in this case. Now, they can't be destroyed by battle, so it would be kind of hard to kind of get a game through that. We're doing the normal one with the Rhino Heart, activating, or we already have to activate the effect, so it's going to be essentially just used as a link material. But we are looking at the Bahamut Shark that we have left in the extra deck, potentially even going up for that totally awesome here if we can't find a way to beat over it. But I have to remember that the effect of the Azarun statue is still a thing. Now, most likely it's going to be the Tear Cache, which is going to attack into it, which is then going to make it not really matter, but still very important. We're going to see the Azarun send the Tear Cache. We do poke for 15 twice, and then a 24. Then we can go up into a Bahamut Shark, which is going to activate the effect, allowing us to bring out a Totally Awesome here, alongside not putting that Rhino Heart into the banish zone. We set one additional card, and we just pass turn on this. So, on the Mimighoul side, we have still the Birth, which can bring back out the Unicorn, but our opponent has a Toad here, and they're thinking about totally negating this, being able to take the Birth, which can now be used on their side of the field to keep bringing back that copy of the Fenrir alongside the Tear Cache here. We're going to be seeing then the Toad going to be adding back a card, and Mimighoul is going to be T-setting like it's GOAT format and passing turn on this. Yeah, Mimighoul is cooked. Time to go to game 2. We're going to be seeing the Burst can activate the effect, and then we get to bring back out the Tear Cache. Tear Cache going to milling 3 more cards. We do hit a Terraforming, a Talent, and I believe a Meta Noise. We're then going to activate the Meta Noise to adding back one of the cards there. And it's going to be a normal summon of Rhino, activating the effects, and then we have this. Having this can then shuffle back out. And we are going to be shuffling in with the Rhino Heart here. And they do activate a Mimighoul Room, but they just scoop it up, realizing the game is going to be lost. Yeah, the fact that we end up taking the Birth and then being able to use it on our side of the field to bring out a Tear Cache to send 3 more cards to graveyard is absolutely crazy. And if that game would have gone for any more longer, we would have been seeing it every single turn being able to bring back out those cards, as well as being able to even banish the opponent's cards in the graveyard when they activate any spells, which can be very useful when you're starting to banish some of those resources. Banish them like a dragon, or even the copy of Mimighoul Master, which is going to be a 1 of in the deck now. Being able to banish that permanently is going to be pretty hard for the Mimighoul player to come back from that, and at least in those lines. Mimighoul is a very grinding of a deck as well, which is why I keep mentioning it. But with Tear, it's all gas, no breaks, and that's kind of like the advantage that it has. It's not going to give Mimighoul a time to slow down and essentially control the game state. It's just going to go, go, and go. Now, that wasn't a great hand from Mimighoul. We saw only, one Mimighoul card, and it most likely was not even the card that was in their opening hand. It was a card that they ended up drawing for turn there, which isn't going to do too very much for them. Having double copies of the Unicorn is not what you're looking for in the deck. But diving on into game number 2, hopefully Mimighoul will open up a little bit better here, starting off with, it looks like a Mimighoul Maker is in the hand, so that's definitely a start. But we're going to be seeing the Mimighoul Maker going to be the first activation here in game 2 for the Cerberus alongside the Slime here. And then we end up getting the Cerberus, which is going to be banishing 3 of our cards. Then we summon out an Archfiend. Archfiend's going to activate the effect, flipping up that Cerberus there. And we are thinking on this. We're going to let that resolve here, and we do banish we banished the King Sark, and I think that's a Forbidden Droplets, but also hitting Random Study and summoning it to our field can be quite nice. And then we're going to go up for a Throne, which can then summon out the Master from the deck. And I'll take a second to read this here. We do chain a Havness, which is then going to allow us to mill 3 cards, and this is going to be a pretty important hit. We end up hitting a Scream here and a Heartbeat, but I don't believe Heartbeat can activate, but the Scream can search for the trap. We're going to see the Mimighoul Master being summoned, and the Mimighoul Master will activate the effect as well as Scream, allowing us to search our deck for a trap. We're going to add the Mimighoul Charm, or not Charm, but the one on the Charm here. And we see that summon itself out because we do control a Mimighoul monster. But where do we go from now? We have a Slime in the hand as well as a Dragon. And we have not normaled yet. Dragon can end up searching for our our field spell or the room, depending on what we want to go for. We go for the field spell here. And then we overlay for a giant, which can then activate the effect, once again, searching the deck. Another time that Droll is really good against this. And we search for the room here, so now we have both ways, or both accesses to the back row. And we're in quite a good shape. We're going to activate the Mimighoul Dungeon, activating the effect, allowing us to search our deck. And we have almost every single piece, so we're going to search for the armor here because we have already the slime in the hand, and we just want the extra extenders here. We're then going to summon out the armor. We're most likely to see the Imsteady as well as the armor going to go up into a Link 2. Perhaps the copy of the rabbit. Yeah, we're going to see the rabbit then set the trap from the deck, just being another form of interruption. And so we're currently looking at like Throne being able to bounce back multiple cards. We see the rabbit having the set, or they set the wrong card, they set a Mimighoul room. Setting the trap, the Azarune from the deck. That's the correct card. You can't set a room there. We have a room set as well. And then we have another face down here too. And we're going to activate the effect, giving our opponent the slime, making them forced to flip it face up so that before they even get the normal summon here. They're going to activate a Scream, which is going to allow them to, whenever they have a Tearlaments monster, which they already do, whenever a monster is summoned, they're going to mill 3 more cards. That's going to kind of allow them to play a little bit more here. We're going to see the Azarune summon itself out and then pop the Scream with the rabbit before they kind of get a chance to get to mill 3 more cards. You want to prevent the most milling possible here, especially when we already seen the Havness mill a couple of the cards. We're going to see Scream allowing us to search for the trap. Then they have 2 traps in the hand, and we know 2 of the 5 cards. We're then going to see the planet going to activate the effects, allowing us to search for another tier monster. But they have to remember that they cannot normal summon, so maybe the tier cache will be the card that we can search for. We're going to search for a Skyrim as well. Being able to discard one of the monsters in our hand to get the effect is definitely going to be pretty useful. If we have a good monster we can discard, we're going to see the effect of Shyren activate, and we do have a Mulcharmy Pirelli in the hand, which is not going to do very much for us. We end up sending an Engraver instead here, and we end up milling another Engraver and the Scream here, not being good mills, but very good for the Mimighoul player here. And having 2 of your 3 fusion monsters on your fusion effect monster on the field is not a good look for tier. We're going to flip up the slime. Slime will make Dragon being summoned from the deck, and then the slime goes to the graveyard because it has to change control, just as it falls off. We see the Maker being searched off of the Dragon here. And then we have to finally normal summon out a Mulcharmy here in this case. Now this is most likely so that we can go up into a Redoer, allowing us to then send that copy of the Shyren to the graveyard to allow us to fuse. Hopefully we have a negate here in the Azarune that we end up realizing that we can do, or we end up going up for maybe the Mimighoul room, flipping it face down here could also be another option. We're going to see the Engraver going to activate the effect, summoning itself back out by sending to the graveyard, and then we're going to link away up into the Requiem. Requiem will then activate the effect, summoning out a Engraver from the deck, and we can then attach for the Princess. But they are thinking on this. We're going to do the room here. That's going to summon a dragon from their deck, flipping the face down here, and now making the Requiem not be able to equip to the Engraver. And they take a second to read the dragon effect, and yeah, they're like, what? Destroys all my monsters? That's crazy. Yeah, that card's extremely nuts. I don't even know how else to explain that. Like, the second look at the card, just made me die there. Looking at it wait, what's that? What did it just say? The story of my monsters. And like we still have the throne to bounce. We still have Mimighoul giant to destroy. And they're like, I have to do this. Like it is such a horrible play for like Mimighoul has complete control over this game. Like they ended up getting all those cards on the field. They ended up getting their trap. They're able to get the field spell, getting the infinite search, and now they're kind of forcing their opponent to flip up that dragon and essentially just nuking their whole entire field. Because they can't go up for the redoer, it's going to be negated. Therefore, the Siren's not going to be able to activate the effect, and we can't just chain the redoer because the summon is not going to be successful. And they ask like, how much damage do you have here? They're going to go battle phase, and they're going to attempt to attack into the throne. We're going to activate the. We're just going to let it resolve. Okay. Then we attack into the Azaroon. And we opt to not send it to the graveyard here. I didn't know having this boosts everything by, or the field spell boosts everything by 500. So we're then going up into an SP. Then we just set one card here and pass turn just like that. We're going to activate the effect of the giant Mimighoul, which is going to just try to destroy cards, I believe. And then burn. We're going to go destroying the SP alongside the field spell here. Trying to burn them for 2,000 because there is 2 face-down monsters on the field. But we opt to flip up to negate that giant Mimighoul. And we can chain the trap here to flip it face down. So that it will resolve. Oh, it bounces the cards. Okay, so then we're going to be seeing those get sent to the graveyard here. And it also allows us now to normal summon again the dungeon or the dragon. But unfortunately we can't because we still have the dragon face down on the opponent's side of the field. But we see the Tearlaments player end up admitting defeat, allowing Mimighoul to move on to game 3 here, but Tearlaments is able to choose to go first, and that deck is scary going first. Especially when you look at Mimighoul's ability to kind of play, like they have the ability to put dragon face down on their opponent's side of the field and flip it face up going second, which can be a big problem, but like we have wind that we can summon out during our opponent's turn, which is going to be extremely crucial for Mimighoul. We have a bunch of other cards, like they have the unicorn and stuff like that, where they're going to be summoning themselves out, but we don't have that much of the crazy cards. But we do have in the deck is Dimension Shifter, which he can be played. And if we do end up drawing, it's going to be essentially a win button against Tearlaments here. We all know how it kind of goes, making sure that they have no graveyard access is going to be pretty much key. But we'll try to begin side out. Unfortunately, just like the deck is extremely tight, and that the hand traps that we do play, we don't play like the most high impact hand traps. But we still have some really good cards. But like unfortunately, having to play those cards like Room and stuff like that at 3, having to play the bursts and the unicorns stuff like that does kind of clog up our deck with those like non-going second cards that we can't unfortunately just brick on here. But we're going to be diving on, and it does look like Evenly Matched is in their main deck currently, so that could also be another good option against the whole Tearlaments board. We're going to be seeing D-Shifter being dropped here in the draw phase. This is going to be huge for Mimighoul. Going to be able to... but we have the Call by the Grave from the tier player. There's no way. That's the best feeling in the world when you're playing a deck and it gets hit with that. And then you have the Call by the Grave. But we have Planet getting hit with Ash, and we had to set one card and pass on this, leaving 2 cards in the hand. This is not what we're looking for here. That's crazy. We're going to be seeing the unicorn being summoned itself out, activating the effect, allowing us to search for a birth. And we are now off to the races here. That's going to be crazy. The double hand trap interaction here. We're going to activate the dungeon, activating the effect, allowing us to search for the dragon, which can search our deck for Mimighoul Maker as well, which are going to be activating the effect, searching for the Maker here. And now we're going to be activating the effects, summoning the cards to their opponent's side of the field. Hopefully, maybe not hitting the Archfiend, unless we already have Archfiend in the hand here. So we don't have Archfiend in the hand. We're going to go for Slime and and Cerberus. So maybe we do have Archfiend in the hand. And then we're going to be flipping the slime down to our opponent's side of the field. And we do summon out the Cerberus. We then get to overlay for... And if we want to flip up the slime, which we can do, we could go up for the number 31 or 13, which flips the slime. Slime's going to activate the effect, summon itself out. But we do go up into the Throne instead, which can summon out the Master. Master can then allow us to search our deck. And we can search for the Charm here. We could also search for Archfiend if we wanted to summon itself and then flip up the slime. But we go for the Charm. That's interesting to me. I feel like we probably should have gone for the Archfiend instead. We link away for an Anima. And then we're going to link those two up into an SP. SP is going to attempt to banish the face down. And it is a Sulic. So we're not going to be attacking directly this turn, but that's not going to matter because we can play the longevity game by summoning back out that Unicorn by activating the Birth. We're going to be able to banish the cards from the graveyard as well, which is going to be pretty important when they do activate any of the spell cards. They're left with 2 cards on the field, and they're not going to be able to normal summon as well here because of the face down slime. We do link those two away for the Rabbit. Rabbit can then set the trap, and we're prioritizing a Rabbit over... Oh, and they ended up siding it out here. The Todd special is real. This is Todd's protege. If you guys have not seen the first Mimighoul duels on the channel, the first actual regionals, Todd ended up topping an event without playing the trap card. He played the Rabbit, and he just forgot to put the trap card on his list. Therefore, he couldn't play with it, and that has forever been a locals classic. And now Todd's protege Usman has done the exact same thing, linking away for a Rabbit that is absolutely nothing in this case here. We're going to be seeing them pass turn. Slime's going to activate the effect, summoning itself out. They're flipping itself up, summoning a Mimighoul from the opponent's deck, which is then going to be the Dragon. Dragon's then going to activate its effects, letting us search for any of the cards. And we do activate a planet on a planet here, and we don't have the trap to stop it. But we can go for Throne to bounce back. And then we just forced to set 1 card and pass turn on this. Mimighoul Dungeon is going to now make these cards be absolutely huge in this case. The Dragon being a 25 attack on its own. We see the Dragon being added back off the dungeon. We summon back, or we normal summon out the Dragon here, activating the effect, letting us search for a Maker. And with the normal summon, or special summon out the Unicorn as well. We surely remember to summon out the Unicorn, right? Come on, we don't forget that. They're trying to do math here. They're going to go battle phase, and we didn't even summon out the Unicorn. That is very... Yeah. And we ended up... Oh, they did have the evenly matched after all. They had double evenly matched in their hands. Yeah, that definitely is going to be very rough. We do see Mimighoul end up taking the game 3 there with a little bit of a misplays as well, not even sending back the Unicorn, but not needing it. Having that shifter, Chain Call with the Grave, but the Ash being the seal in the deal for that planet is unfortunately going to seal the entire game. Regardless, hope you're watching the video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe for more content like this. Don't forget to stay safe. Peace.